by swapping homes within a trusted.
They say
Mind
butter
you,
on
this
that
is
weird
the
shit.
Usher Raymond we're talking about. Why?
The whole saying Usher on that weird shit, man. See what they talking about?
Why do you have a segment in your tour where your bare ass is out? Why am I
He
looking at
do?
man butt? And why are you putting them hot leather jeans on right after? No drawers, no nothing.
Usher has become so beloved that people have stopped paying attention to.
Even the hoes is wearing nigga leather pants with no drawers, no nothing. Yeah, but your ass out. I don't know, gang. That shit. Diddy done diddled his little ass.
The pattern of
That
behavior hiding in plain
nigga
sight.
freaky.
For multiple decades, Usher Raymond IV has been one of the few entertainers who seemed almost impossible to dislike. Since bursting onto the scene as a teenager in the mid-1990s, he has evolved into one of the greatest R&B performers of all time. His influence on music is undeniable. From My Way to 8701, from Confessions to Here I Stand, Usher helped define what modern male R&B looked and sounded like for an entire generation. As we know, Confessions alone sold over 10 million copies in the United States, making it one of the very few diamond certified albums in history. His live performances became the gold standard. His Las Vegas residency reminded people that true entertainers still exist, and his Super Bowl halftime show earlier this decade only cemented what many of us already knew. There really isn't another male R&B artist
That
who does
freaky
everything
ass
at the level
shirt.
that Usher does. But over the last few years, something has felt off. It isn't one major scandal, but a few small moments that, when placed next to each other, paint a picture of someone whose judgment has become increasingly difficult to understand. And I think that's what makes this video discussion so difficult, because none of what we're about to discuss takes away
That
from his
nigga
talent.
look freaky.
None of it erases his accomplishments or his contributions to music. Actually, I would even argue that Usher
He one of them subtle freaky niggas. Like, yeah, a bitch ain't gonna, shorty ain't gonna realize she in a rape situation till it's too late with him. So this type of, like, you feel me? This type of nigga, he'll fuck around, smooth talk a bitch, something vicious game. She won't even know he and that motherfucker slick taking it. You feel me? Like, motherfucker slick thinking like, oh yeah, man, he taking that motherfucker, but he making it so elegant. You think you just really giving that motherfucker. He a D, that nigga, he's a
is
scary
the
nigga.
last of a dying breed in
That's a
terms
nigga
of
you gotta
male
watch.
superstars in R&B. He can sing live, he can dance, his catalog spans generations.
You better not bring your bitch
Even as
around this
someone who
nigga.
personally believes Confessions was his
He gonna
last
try.
true classic
He one of
album
them
from
niggas
front
that
to back,
sneakily try. Yeah,
I
nigga,
still think his
bitch.
ability to consistently deliver memorable singles and incredible performances separates him from virtually all of his counterparts. However, being extraordinarily talented doesn't automatically mean you exercise extraordinary judgment. Over the last 15 years, Usher has found himself attached to a surprising number of controversies that,
Yo,
on
just
their
say, yeah, he
own,
been doing this
may
shit.
not seem all that significant. A harsh comment here, a questionable friendship there, a public
Man, that nigga been freaky. He ain't just start being freaky, nigga.
statement that left fans scratching their heads. But none of these moments individually have been enough to derail his career. In actuality, most people have forgotten many of them entirely. But when you line them up chronologically, they begin to tell a very different story of who Usher is. They reveal someone who repeatedly demonstrates questionable judgment, surprising loyalty to controversial figures, and moments that seem strangely disconnected from the polished, thoughtful image he spent decades building. This isn't a video calling Usher a bad person because I don't know him personally. Instead, I just want to examine why someone so universally respected continues to make decisions that come from his own fan base, and why his immense talent has allowed him to repeatedly
Have you ever thought that this nigga's tired of hiding who he really is? This nigga really is a freak monster. He's just tired of hiding that shit.
move past controversies that might have permanently damaged almost anyone else's reputation? To understand why so many fans have been willing to overlook these moments, we first have to understand what his public image was. Outside of the occasional media headline, he projected the image of a polished family man and consummate professional. That image became especially important within the black community because Usher represented a different kind of black male celebrity. He sold romance, sophistication, and vulnerability. Women adored him, men respected him, and parents did not mind their children listening to him. That kind of goodwill takes decades to build, which is why the first major red flag in that image caught so many people off guard. When Usher married stylist Tamika Foster in 2007, the relationship immediately became the subject of intense
That
public
nigga
scrutiny,
look like
mainly due
he
to
don't look
people
right.
and
You can
fans
tell.
unfairly tearing her down due to her age, past family life, and her looks.
My sisters that were tearing me down. It was people that looked like me, my complexion, even probably had my same name. No, most of
You think it had to do anything with your age?
I think it was a combination. I think we didn't have support from, his mom early on. I think people was like, well, if she don't like her, she must be hell on wheels. And then I think it was that I was older. The main thing, also I had children prior.
She older?
And I was married previously. So those...
Wait. So he took somebody big. That makes this shit that they said about the Boondock shit even more true then.
Just that whole combination was like,
That nigga really did that shit.
we want him to marry Princess Virgin. I don't know what they wanted, but it wasn't what he wanted.
But also it could be the fact that his parents wanted him to stay single.
That could be. Or they thought they had a chance.
So how is your relationship with your ex-mother-in-law now?
Really non-existent. We're cordial when we see each other or we speak. We're cool.
At the time, it felt like their marriage moved quickly,
She
with
grown
many
as
fans
shit. You know
questioning
she
the
was
couple
doing
from
some
the
freaky
very
shit. I
beginning.
can tell by her face.
And after only a few years together, their divorce evolved.
I'm telling you, the older I got, the more and more I dealt with older freaks, older y'all means fuck. I could look at a bitch face and tell what type of year she is. Just looking at her face, that bitch do whatever. When I say whatever, she do whatever. She would take it to any extreme you want. And keep her mouth shut. I could just tell the bitch is a true eater.
into one of the most public and contentious celebrity custody battles
And
of the
she
late
older
2000s.
and was married,
a
man,
lot of people
what?
criticized Usher at that time for the way he handled the divorce, in which he talked about in a conversation with Oprah.
Towards the end of our marriage,
I mean, he a young nigga. He start pillow
I
talking.
found myself lost. And I just wanted out.
Shorty look like his motherfucking mama damn near. Is this nigga
No.
crying?
But were you with another woman sexually?
When we were separated, yes, I was. We were not divorced.
Did you know there's a new AI tool that allows you to create AI-generated YouTube thumbnails by just pasting a
Usher was
YouTube
fucking
video
bitches,
URL?
man. He tryna,
Yes, I was.
He's trying to act like he
we
like
were
a,
not.
he's trying to act like he's some wounded duckling in this bitch for like he was in this bitch knocking boots. She was knocking boots too. Y'all was both knocking boots. I don't know. I don't think her that was knocking boots. I think she really did fuck with him. Like I could tell she one of them hoes. Like you give her you hold her the way she like. She really gonna rock with you.
Divorced.
During the divorce and child custody proceedings, allegations surfaced that Usher had been unfaithful during the marriage, including accusations that he slept with one of Tamika's bridesmaids, in which
Damn.
Usher's nanny at the time allegedly discovered him in bed with a woman named Maya Fox Davis. As a reminder,
Also,
these
he
allegations
just-
emerged during an incredibly messy divorce.
Shit, she look good. Damn.
And allegations are not the same as proven facts. However, they dominated
got
headlines
crying
and
and shit.
significantly altered the public conversation surrounding Usher at the time. For many black women especially, this wasn't simply celebrity gossip.
She got the low cut. Oh, you know what that means. She's ooh wee.
Challenged the image they had built of Usher over the previous decade. Whether people believed every allegation or not almost became secondary, because the perception had changed. The polished gentleman many people thought they knew suddenly seemed far more complicated than his music had led audiences to believe. Eventually, those headlines faded, and Usher continued making music, experimenting new sounds, touring, while leaving that chapter of his life behind. Then came 2017. And in my opinion, this was the moment that permanently changed the way many people, including myself, looked at Usher. In July of that year, court documents surfaced alleging that Usher had previously reached a settlement with a woman who claimed he failed to disclose that he had an incurable STD prior to intercourse, as it was mentioned in the documents that he had contracted the disease between 2009 and 2010. In the documents, it
You got AIDS? It's either AIDS, HIV, herpes. That's the big three. Not even the big three. That's the terrible three. Shit, that's all I'm thinking about.
mentioned that the
Is
woman was
we
later
gonna-
diagnosed with herpes.
I knew it.
After experiencing
I knew it.
very uncomfortable symptoms, as the woman later noted that she feels that her health and body had been ruined. It was also reported that between 2011 and 2012, Usher paid the woman's medical bills of nearly $3,000. Later, the woman sued and settled for a $1.1 million payout. Only weeks later, this story would only get worse for Usher when 3 additional individuals, 1 man and 2 women, which included plaintiff Quantasia Sharpton, all filing lawsuits making similar allegations that they had not been informed of his alleged diagnosis before intimate encounters.
He was fucking.
In a press conference at that time, one of the plaintiffs...
He like him chunky? You know, she went crazy. Oh, I could just tell. She got the tattoo right there. She went... She went ridiculous. She ate his ass off the... She did some shit that night to him.
Quantasia said, "I love Usher's artistry and music. I went to a concert of his with some friends a few years ago to celebrate my birthday. I was wearing a birthday crown, and because of that, I was selected to go backstage before the show. Later, a security guard picked me up and asked me for my number. He told me Usher had seen me backstage and was interested in me. After the show, my friends and I returned to the hotel. I got a call from Usher on a blocked number, asked me what hotel I was staying in, and the room number. About an hour later, he arrived. We spoke for a while, and then we engaged in sexual contact. He never warned me about any STDs. It was just after my 19th birthday. I never heard from him again. When I first heard reports that he had herpes, I couldn't believe it. I had a child a year ago, and I knew I was negative. But I also contacted Lisa Bloom to find out what my rights are as a woman. Although I am negative, I am upset by the reports because I never would have consented if I would have known. I would have never taken a risk of getting an incurable disease. My health is very important to me now that I am a mother.
Let's get past this, because I feel like I'm going to say some shit that's just going to get this shit shut down. And we ain't going to do that. I'm trying to build something good.
And that any of the alleged conduct was unintentional. The damage was already done from a PR standpoint.
So this nigga
over the next 2 years, the lawsuits worked their way through the legal system before ultimately being dismissed in 2019, and others settling without a public trial or finding liability. What made this situation so jarring wasn't simply the allegations themselves, it was who the allegations involved. This was Usher. Allegations involving knowingly exposing intimate partners to a lifelong STD struck directly at the foundation of the image he has spent decades cultivating. For me personally, I have never looked at Usher quite the same since then, because looking back now, I always found it remarkable that he never offered the kind of clear public denial that many fans expected from someone whose integrity is being dragged through the mud. Of course, no celebrity owes the public every detail of their personal medical history, but perception often matters just as much as reality in the entertainment industry. And once those headlines became attached to Usher's name, they never fully disappeared. Even today, nearly a decade later, those allegations remain one of the first controversies many people associate with him. Aside from that, this next story has become so well known now that it's easy to forget just how crazy it actually was. In 2023, T-Pain sat down for an interview and revealed a conversation with Usher that had haunted him for years. According to T-Pain, the two were on a flight together when Usher pulled him aside and told him that he had effed up the music industry for real singers because of his use of auto-tune.
He was your friend.
Oh, he still is.
Oh, okay.
He still is.
This shit, so
yeah, no, I've never lost love for Usher.
Okay,
that was never a thing. He just made me think about shit a little harder and kind of fucked up my way
so
of
what was his exact words? He said you fucked up music?
I didn't change any word he said. That nigga said you fucked up music for real singers.
And he was dead serious?
Dead serious. Like
he wasn't being sarcastic, joking with you?
That nigga said you fucked up music for real singers. And I thought he was joking, and I laughed, and he was like, nah, for real. I was like, oh, okay.
Hey, what were you supposed to respond to that when he tells you? Like, what was he expecting you to say?
T-Pain explained that hearing those words from someone he deeply admires sent him into a depression that lasted nearly 4 years. Like, literally, imagine you are at the pinnacle of your career, believing you've become a musical innovator, only to...
I ain't gonna lie for them. You a bitch for that. I ain't gonna
have
lie.
One of your idols essentially tell you that you...
God damn nigga think they funny. I would look at us just so motherfucking stupid. Shit, nigga. Alright, bro. Exactly what I told that. Alright, bro.
Your legacy is ruining the very art form you dedicated your life to. Whether Usher intended it that way or not, those words carried an incredible amount of weight because of who they came from. Now, I believe the two have since reconciled, and to Usher's credit, he later clarified that he didn't remember saying it in the exact way that T-Pain recalled, and apologized publicly once he understood the impact his comments had. Usher said, "I'm happy that T-Pain said something. I'm not sure if it was before or after our actual conversation. After I heard what was said, it was very hurtful to know that he had experienced that kind of hardship in life. I wouldn't wish that on any person. Private conversations for me have always been intended to uplift, but when or if people get pieces of it, they can always have some other interpretation, but we've spoken since and we're good."
Payne forgives Usher for his auto-tune remarks.
Man, fuck that nigga, man. Fuck him. Fuck him, personally. And you shouldn't even be shaking and hugging that nigga, man.
I respect him for apologizing because too many people in the entertainment industry double down instead of acknowledging when they've hurt someone. But even with the apology, I don't think people fully understand why that moment was bothersome. It wasn't simply because T-Pain's feelings were hurt. I think it was because the criticism itself felt unfair.
Yeah.
T-Pain did not single-handedly destroy music. If anything, he revolutionized it. Yes, he popularized the modern use of autotune and made it commercially viable in a way very few artists have ever had before. But he didn't force record labels to sign artists who couldn't sing. He didn't force producers to rely on vocal processing. He didn't force audiences to consume music that embraced a more melodic style of rap and R&B. Those were industry-wide decisions fueled by consumer demand, technological advances, streaming platforms, and changing musical taste. What also gets lost in that conversation is that T-Pain is actually an incredibly gifted singer. Anyone who watched his Tiny Desk concert or heard him sing stripped-down versions of his biggest songs knows that autotune was always a stylistic choice, not a crutch. He used technology as an instrument, and that's very different from someone using technology to hide a lack of ability.
That's right.
To me, this incident revealed something larger about Usher. Sometimes he could come across as surprisingly self-righteous. He speaks with the confidence of someone who believes his perspective is the correct one without always considering how devastating those words might be to the person on the receiving end. In 2024, many fans were surprised to see photos surface of Usher spending time in Bali with Russell Simmons. For anyone unfamiliar, Russell Simmons, the co-founder of Def Jam Recordings, has been accused of sexual misconduct by multiple women in the 90s. He has consistently denied the allegations, but the accusations were serious enough that he largely withdrew from public life in the United States and relocated to Bali, where he has remained for years, with people theorizing that he moved there to evade the legal ramifications he'd face if he stayed in the United States. So when Russell proudly shared photographs of himself and Usher together on social media, many people did not see it as an innocent vacation between old friends. They saw it as a public endorsement. In the post, Russell captioned the photo collage by saying, "When I was at the lowest point in my life, I had an operation when I woke up. This man was sitting by my bed. I had known Usher since he was a kid, but we really bonded because of our mutual love for self-discovery and our belief in yogic science as a direct route to realizing God's consciousness in ourselves. People remember to remember this. A friend walks in when others walk out. I will never forget the generosity of spirit I witnessed in this man. God bless you, baby bro. Usher, love you." Optics matter, especially when you're someone with Usher's stature. Nobody expects celebrities to abandon lifelong friendships overnight. Relationships are complicated, and people are free to support whomever they choose. But publicly celebrating someone whose reputation has become so deeply intertwined with allegations of assault inevitably sends a message. Whether that's your intention or not, it communicates that those allegations either don't matter.
I mean, it's a female, so she's saying all that shit, but these bitches be sexually assaulting too. It's just we don't talk about that shit.
Enough to distance yourself, or that your personal loyalty outweighs the discomfort those images might cause.
But I ain't trying to turn nobody down. I'm just saying, like,
for survivors.
get off this shit, bro.
Scene and how he's been, misrepresented. I'm not saying that every man is perfect. I'm not saying that all of us don't have flaws, but I can't, with any sense of humanity, not recognize the valuable contributions that this man made. For us as Black entrepreneurs, for us as businessmen, for us as people who transition, culture and ideas into something that's tangible and becomes business. So many people benefited from what he created. And I acknowledge that. And that's why I see him as legacy.
For me, that was the most troubling part of this statement. Had Usher simply said, "My experience with Sean was different," I don't think many people would have objected. People can only speak from their own experiences, but saying someone had been misrepresented is an entirely different claim. That is the operative word that implies that the public's understanding is somehow inaccurate or unfair. The problem is that Diddy's public image wasn't shaped by internet rumors alone. It was shaped by decades of allegations, lawsuits, witness testimony, video evidence, and criminal proceedings. Saying that someone had been misrepresented can unintentionally come across as dismissing the experiences of people who have publicly accused him of abuse. Your positive experience with someone does not invalidate someone else's traumatic one. And when you examine the Russell Simmons visit with the Diddy comments, you begin to notice that something feels more like a pattern than a coincidence. Time and time again, Usher seems willing to publicly extend grace toward powerful men facing serious allegations, often without acknowledging why so many people feel uncomfortable watching him do that. That's where the confusion begins for many fans. It's not that he's required to denounce every person he's ever known, it's that his public responses often seem to lack the sensitivity that the moment calls for. That pattern became even more confusing earlier this year when Usher announced something that, in theory, should have been one of the biggest tours in R&B history, a co-headlining stadium tour with Chris Brown. When Usher and Chris Brown announced that they would be embarking on a co-headlining stadium tour together in April of this year, I have to admit, I was genuinely confused. Not because I questioned whether the tour would sell tickets. Obviously, this is Usher and Chris Brown, and between the two of them, they have decades of hit songs, loyal fan bases, and enough stage presence to entertain an arena or stadium for 2 to 3 hours. Commercially, the tour was always going to be successful. What confused me was why Usher even agreed to do it. This is a man who had just completed one of the most successful Las Vegas residencies in recent history. He had just reminded the entire world why he remains one of the greatest performers alive with his Super Bowl halftime show. He has successfully completed his own sold-out world tour. By every measurable standard, Usher simply didn't need Chris Brown. If anything, Chris Brown arguably stood to benefit more from sharing a stage with someone whose reputation had remained considerably cleaner throughout the years. In response to the criticism, Chris responded on Instagram by saying, "The funniest and weirdest ish ever to me is the fact that people have the option to come to my tour and the option not to. I know everyone who was a fan of me and Usher will definitely be in the building and it would be packed out just like last year. But I'm scrolling through Insta and TikTok and I come across these rage bait pages and or these fake woke stand up for nothing pages bashing people for wanting to come and have a good time. The dudes hating, I can understand that, thinking we're gonna see your girl in ish. But the Karens and the self-hating hoes be making me laugh. I can't wait to rub this ish in y'all face." The announcement became even stranger considering the history between the two artists. Just a few years earlier, reports surfaced alleging that Usher and Chris Brown had gotten into a physical altercation at a celebrity skating party, with multiple people reporting that Usher was seen leaving with what witnesses described as a bloody nose after an alleged confrontation involving Chris and his entourage. Neither artist has publicly spoken on the incident to confirm nor deny, and obviously they have clearly reconciled enough to tour together. Friendships can heal and disagreements happen, but that part alone isn't necessarily what bothered me. What gave me pause was the optics. Chris Brown remains one of the most polarizing figures in popular music. His assault of Rihanna in 2009 fundamentally changed how many people view him, and over the years, he has continued to face additional allegations involving violence and aggressive behavior, including accusations from former girlfriend Karrueche that resulted in a restraining order, as well as numerous other incidents that have kept him in controversy. Regardless of where someone personally stands on Chris Brown today, it is impossible to pretend that his public reputation isn't complicated. So naturally, I found myself asking, why would Usher voluntarily attach his legacy to that? One explanation that both artists have offered is that they wanted to prove that R&B artists can headline stadiums in the same way that pop stars can. And honestly, I think that's a respectable goal. But even understanding that rationale, I still struggle to see how this particular partnership benefits Usher. Usher has already accomplished everything an artist could reasonably hope to accomplish. He has nothing left to prove. His legacy was secure long before this tour was even announced, which is why this decision feels less like a strategic career move and more like another example of Usher aligning himself with someone whose reputation carries significant baggage. At a certain point in your career, your brand becomes just as important as your performances. The people you publicly associate yourself with inevitably become part of your own story. Then came the moment that, for me, perfectly encapsulated everything I've been talking about throughout this video with a recent concert video that's been circulating. Just recently, a clip from one of the tour days went viral showing Usher rising from a bed during a performance while pulling his leather pants back up, briefly exposing his bare behind to thousands of people in the audience. Predictably, social media exploded, leaving many fans, including myself, left wondering.
What was the reason? What was the reason? What was the reason?
I think one of the reasons.
So this nigga Usher just freaky, bro. That's all it is, man. I ain't about to sit here. Look, bro. Look, y'all see y'all in a couple seconds, not a couple minutes. We got the freaky man Usher. We got C Beezy, the Beezy. You know he a blood. You feel me? Look, y'all. Like I said, see y'all in a couple seconds, not a couple minutes, man.